Hey, what's up guys? I'm Charles.
And I'm Christine.
Platen Adhesive is an important tool in a screen printer's toolbox. It secures the garment to your platen to prevent garment shift, which would otherwise cause misprints, cause you a lot of headaches, and a lot of wasted money.
But adhesive isn't just adhesive. There are a lot of variables to consider in choosing the right one. In this video, we're going to teach you all about different options in platen adhesives.
We're going to go over the pros and the cons, application benefits and limitations, so by the end of this video, you're going to be an adhesive pro. Welcome to Ragged Apparel. There are generally only 4 types of platen adhesives. We're going to be talking about those 4 types now. There's aerosol spray, water-based, web spray, and double-sided roll tape. The first adhesive we're going to go over is the aerosol spray. This is probably the most common adhesive used by beginner screen printers and even some experienced screen printers who have not ventured into other options.
Spray adhesive is easy to apply. All you have to do is spray it on and load your shirt.
It has a great tack and it holds garments very well. This is one of the reasons it is so popular because it pretty much works for everything.
And the price isn't too bad. Depending on the brand you buy, a can of spray adhesive costs about $7 to $8.
Now, although spray adhesive works well, it also has some drawbacks.
First, you have to spray your platen before every shirt is loaded.
Some spray adhesives claim to be able to maintain their tack over several print cycles, but we've never really found that to be the case.
Having to reapply the spray adhesive for every garment really adds a lot of time to the job. It may only take a few seconds to spray the platen, but those few seconds multiplied by every printed garment can add up to a lot of time, not to mention the extra fatigue it adds to the loader.
It may seem insignificant, but the extra motion of picking up the spray can, spraying the platen, setting the spray can down, and then grabbing the garment to load can make a person very tired over the course of a shift. Also, the tack that the spray adhesive does have tends to be a little strong at times.
This can vary somewhat between brands and also based upon how much adhesive you spray onto the platen. But in general, it does have a fairly strong bond, which can make unloading the garment from the platen a little more difficult and time consuming.
If adhered too much, it could also cause the garment to stretch and possibly cause your printed graphic to skew. And the worst part of spray adhesive though, is that since it's an aerosol based, it gets on everything. And when we say everything, we mean everything. This stuff gets everywhere.
Then you start getting dust and lint buildup all over your press, the floors, tabletops, your ink buckets, and you get the idea.
Then pretty soon your press looks less like a lean, mean screen printing machine that it's supposed to be, and more like...
Okay, let's move on and talk about water-based adhesives. Water-based adhesives are probably the favorite and most utilized by experienced printers and/or shops with automatic presses. But of course, that isn't always the case.
Water-based adhesives come in a liquid form. They're typically in a gallon or 5-gallon container. The water-based adhesives are also very easy to apply. We use ketchup bottles that we get from the grocery store to pour onto the platen, then use a plastic squeegee to spread it out evenly. You could also use something like a credit card, but a squeegee really works the best.
Water-based adhesives have a great tack for most garments. It's a good even pressure activated tack that prevents garment shift, but isn't quite as strong of a bond as spray adhesive. So unloading the garment is easier and faster.
And the greatest benefit of water-based adhesive is that the tack lasts a long time. Now, depending on the garment, you can print upwards of a couple hundred shirts before reapplication.
This really increases your production speed and decreases fatigue on the shirt loader. And even better, there is absolutely no mess or overspray. So you won't end up growing strange alien species all over your equipment.
Now, water-based adhesive costs around $40 to $45 a gallon. So it's going to initially cost you more than buying a couple cans of spray adhesive, but it also lasts a really long time and really ends up costing less in the long run.
But water-based adhesives aren't all peaches and cream. They do have their limitations as well. To begin with, the thicker fabrics like fleece hoodies may not hold up all that well. The thick interior fleece lining acts like a layered cushion. And although the bottom layer is adhered to the platen, the fleece cushion can allow the top layer of the garment to shift slightly, which can cause misprints and ghosting.
Fleece is also notoriously bad with leaving behind a lot of fibers and lint on your platens. It can build up very quickly, and as it does, it essentially covers over your adhesive, making it ineffective.
Speaking of lint buildup, we did a whole video about maintaining your platens, which if you haven't, you should check it out.
The link to that video is going to be right up above. You can also go to our channel and find it there. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you're notified when we upload more helpful screen printing videos. Now, let's get back to learning all about adhesives.
A second downside is that although it's rare, water-based adhesives are 100% useless with certain fabrics.
Take these Bella Canvas women's tanks for example. The viscose and polyester blend of these tanks is the kryptonite of water-based adhesives. If you're using water-based adhesive, you might as well grease up your platen with Vaseline when trying to print these tanks.
So again, with certain fabrics, you're gonna have to revert back to using a good quality spray adhesive and just deal with the drawbacks. And lastly, you're gonna need to know a sense of how your water-based adhesive is performing.
Like we mentioned earlier, you can print up to a couple hundred garments before needing to reapply the adhesive. But over time, it will begin to dry out and lose its effectiveness. So make sure to keep an eye on how it's performing.
The shirt pullers should be able to notice when the tack of the adhesive is beginning to weaken, and they should communicate with the loader so that the adhesive can be reapplied before problems start.
Oh, and one more thing. Water-based adhesives work best when warmed up. A spray adhesive is going to be sticky and will work anytime you spray it, but water-based adhesives aren't as tacky when they're cold. So make sure you warm your platens up under your flash before you start printing.
The next adhesive we're going to discuss is web adhesive. Web adhesive comes in an aerosol can just like spray adhesive and also costs about the same, right around $6 to $8 a can. However, instead of spraying out a mist, it sprays out a stringy web pattern. It's almost like a real thin and sticky silly string. So unlike spray adhesives, there's no aerosol mess.
Because it's applied like a spray adhesive, it has a lot of the same drawbacks. You have to spray your platen every time you load a garment, which is going to cause your production time to suffer, and it can cause greater fatigue. It also has the strongest adhesive bond of anything that we've discussed so far, so it's not necessarily the greatest for most garments. However, because the adhesion bond is so good, it is absolutely perfect for fleece garments.
There is nothing that holds a hoodie in place better than the web adhesive. So when it comes to printing fleece garments, it's ideal.
Now last on our list is double-sided roll tape adhesive.
Just like the others, you can infer from the name how it works. It's literally a big roll of double-sided tape made specifically for our industry and this application.
And it's very easy to apply. You just cut off a piece, stick it to your platen, remove the top cover sheet, and you're ready to print.
It has a fairly strong tack, which lasts a long time, just like water-based. It's also marketed as platen tape and adhesive. This is because when it gets to the point when it's saturated with lint and needs to be replaced, you can just peel the entire tape off the platen and throw it away.
Now, one of our favorite tape manufacturers, PMI, also markets their double-sided tape as being able to be reconditioned, meaning you can literally use a wet sponge to wipe away the lint buildup from the tape.
Doing this makes the tape become tacky again and basically makes the tape last longer before it needs to be replaced.
Now, this is kind of cool and handy in theory, but we found that cleaning the lint off is not only labor intensive, but it also takes up quite a bit of time.
And that sponge is gonna get pretty nasty.
So either you have to deal with having a dirty, stinky sponge laying around the shop, washing your sponges, or throwing them away and replacing them, which unfortunately becomes very expensive.
It's definitely easier to spread new water-based adhesive on your platens rather than trying to clean the platens and reactivate the tack of the tape.
We've also found that although it has a much stronger tack, it has a lot of the same limitations as water-based adhesives in printing certain garments. It works great for most garments, but not so good for others. And the concept of not needing to use a platen tape isn't really our favorite either.
In theory, it seems like a great idea. There's less consumables, less time in applying and replacing the platen tape, etc.
But theory isn't always practical. Platens are a very important piece of equipment, and we like to protect them to ensure they work optimally. So when we've used the double-sided adhesive tape, we still apply platen tape first and then apply the double-sided adhesive on top.
So we weren't seeing any benefit in reducing time or consumables. Not only that, but remember we said it works great for some garments, but not for others. Well, that means you may still need to use either a spray adhesive or web adhesive at times.
The double-sided tape doesn't cover the entire surface of the platen, and if they aren't protected with a good platen tape, you're just asking for trouble.
And because it's a tape, it acts like a tape. It has a strong bond that sticks to anything that touches it, and we found this to be very problematic.
We set our screens on the platen when we are loading them onto the press. With the double-sided tape, the screens have stuck to the platen and it literally ripped the emulsion off of the screen.
So then we had to reburn the screens, re-tape the platens before we could print the job.
We've also set work orders down on the platen which instantaneously got stuck, causing us to have to retape the platen. And just when we thought we learned our lesson not to place anything on the platens which would solve all of our problems, we had screens get stuck to the platens while registering the job on the press.
We've never had these sorts of issues using any other of the 3 types of adhesives though. Not to mention it's the most expensive option of all the 4 types of adhesives. So what do we use here at Ragged Apparel, and which one do we recommend for you to use? Well, we use everything except the double-sided tape.
Water-based is definitely our #1 choice, and that's what we use the most. We feel it works best on the majority of garments, and it is the most production-friendly time-wise. But just like we mentioned earlier, it doesn't work for everything, so you really need to have a spray and web adhesive on hand as well.
By having all 3 available, you're going to be able to print a wide range of garments while capitalizing on their strengths and eliminating their weaknesses. If you chose to, you could replace the water-based adhesive with the double-sided tape, but we found it to be much more of a hassle than what it's worth.
As far as our favorite products and what we use here in the shop, for water-based adhesives, we like both Ultrafix PT from Saudi and Tex-Tac from Chromoline.
Both are great and work equally well. For spray adhesive, we like the Cami 375, and for the web adhesive, we like the Cami 385.
We've used several different brands, and we've found that we like these the best.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed this video learning all about Platen adhesives. Our channel is designed to help you become a better screen printer and run a successful screen printing shop, so we would appreciate it if you would like this video and make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Also, make sure to click that bell icon so you'll be notified when we post new videos, helping you level up on your screen printing. See you in the next video.
Bye guys.